Hi, my name is Tori Crenshaw, and this is my book talk. The book I read was The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. So, for a summary of this book, it's about this girl named Avery Kylie Grahams, and she inherits Hawthorne House by Tobias Hawthorne, and she also gets his entire fortune. So, he's a billionaire, and she inherits everything that he has. And then Tobias Hawthorne has 4 grandsons, Nash, Grayson, Jameson, and Xander, and they played Tobias Hawthorne's games and puzzles every day. So Avery has to work with the 4 brothers to solve the puzzle of why she got the heir to Hawthorne legacy, because she didn't know Tobias Hawthorne or any of them, yet she was willed the entire estate and everything he had. So for the classroom appropriateness, it's appropriate for ages 12 and up, which is 7th grade and up. There's only one kissing scene, and it's not explicit. It's very short as well. And there's some mild cussing, but most of the cussing is censored. So for example, they'll use foxing and other words to replicate or censor swear words. So it actually is pretty appropriate for middle school and high school, I would say. In terms of thematic complexity, there's not a super strong theme or super strong moral theme. However, there's the theme of determination through challenges. There's also loyalty and family in terms of knowing who to trust and the whole Hawthorne family. And then there's also the construct of social classes, because Avery is from a low socioeconomic status, and then she gets brought into this world with very high class people, and she becomes the richest person in Texas. For the character credibility, every character is very dynamic and engaging, and even the side characters are very complex. And Avery is a regular girl who was thrown into a totally new experience, so some students may be able to compare themselves to Avery and what they would do if they were in her situation, because she's a very relatable character. And she must figure out who she can trust and what she's willing to do for the money. So like I said, students can think about what they would do if they were in her position. And also the grandsons that I mentioned previously all have their own unique personalities and backstories, so they're very dynamic and complex in the story as well. For the emotional intensity, it's not emotionally intense at all. It's more intriguing with the puzzles and the mystery. But there are some funny, relatable parts. As I was saying, Avery's a very relatable main character. And for some trigger warnings, there's an abusive relationship, and there's also attempted murder. But kind of like the kissing scene, it's very short and not explicit, so that's good. And then for classroom use, I think this would be a great book to analyze character. Like I said, there's not super strong themes that I could see being taught in the classroom. However, the character is very interesting, and that would be really good to do in the classroom to learn how to analyze characters, especially since there's a lot of options of characters who are, like I said, complex and dynamic. I also think this would be a good story to talk about logic and critical thinking because of all the puzzles. And in the classroom, you could do some puzzle activities like anagrams, riddles, mysteries, putting the pieces together type of activities. And like I said, critical thinking, figuring out how to solve these puzzles. And also students could make their own puzzles, and that could be a fun activity for them that is challenging and fun for them. And then also I could see this kind of being an intro into a poetry unit if you want to talk about poetry like a puzzle and what each piece of poetry means. For example, repetition and metaphor, and how that relates to the meaning of poetry. If you want to focus on that instead of more of the emotional aspect of poetry, I could see that being a good use in the classroom. That's all. Thank you.